Hello and good afternoon, everyone. We members of GDSC Avantika University invite you to Web and Firebase, a hands-on session in alliance with GDSC Poornima College of Engineering, GDSC Amity University Mumbai, GDSC Indore Institute of Science and Technology, and GDSC Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. Web development. I guess the term is pretty self-explanatory, but basically it refers to building, creating, and maintaining of websites. It includes aspects like web design, web publishing, web programming, and database management. All in all, it is creation of an application that works over the internet, what we call websites. And in this session, you will learn to develop a web page in HTML and CSS along with backing it up with Firebase. So for today's session, we will be doing the web programming part, and for tomorrow's session, we will do the database management using Firebase. So today's session will be led by Yash Sharma, and he will be teaching you about HTML and CSS. So over to you, Yash.
Thank you, Arthur. Okay, so Arthur, please let me share my screen. Okay,
Yeah,
so let's.
your screen is visible.
Uh, okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We are from Google Developers Friends Club, Avantika University, and today we are going to give you some insights about introduction to web technologies using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Firebase. So, without any further delay, let's start with our first technology, which is HTML. So, like HTML is used to create the document and structure the content in our web page. Similarly, the CSS is used to control the visual aspect, and JavaScript is used for interactivity. So, like you can see here in image, like HTML is the skeleton of our web page, CSS is the styling, and JavaScript is the functionality, like the brain part of the web page. So we will develop a web page and we will deploy our HTML code on a good web browser like Chrome or Firefox in this session. And how you can test your code. So it is very simple. Like you have to create an index.html file in whichever the text editor or code editor or browser you are using, and you can copy the path, or press the key Control plus Shift plus I or F12 to view that web page. So this is the anatomy of our browser. This our standard browser looks like. And what is inside a browser? First, there is a user interface. So first, user sees that user interface, and then browser engine. That browser engine is associated with rendering the engine, and it is further connected to the networking, JavaScript interpreter, and UI backend. And all these functionalities finally lead to the data persistence. So our first technology for today is HTML. So as you can see it, like there are some tags in HTML like head and body tag. So let's first start with our first scripting language, that is HTML. So HTML means hypertext markup language. It is used to define the structure of a document or a website. It is not a programming language, it is a markup language, which means its purpose is to give structure to the content of the website, not to define an algorithm of the web page. You can see the simple code, like first you have to open the tag of HTML, then you have to open the tag of head, then you have to close the head tag, then you will open a body tag. You can create a division tag there. You can create a paragraph tag using p. Don't worry, I will explain you while we will program a page. And then you have to close the division tag, you have to close the body tag, and you have to close the HTML tags. You must remember that it is quite necessary to close all the tags which are open in HTML. Yes, there are some exceptions, like there are some empty tags. We will talk about that. So some basic rules in HTML are like you have to first create a tag name and then give it some attribute. So we will not go into that much theory. I'll explain you using all these things using a simple web page when we will implement such things. So like you can see here the syntax example of the HTML. Like first you have to open a tag, then you have to give a name like div, then you have to create a ID, and then you can create the content which what you want to display on your web page. So this was all about the initials of HTML. Like here you can also see like the syntax example, like this is the tag name, this is the attribute, this is a comment, this is the text tag, this is the self closing tag, like the empty text that I was talking about. Like this is a image tag, you don't have to close it again and again. uh, this is a self closing tag, so no need to write another closing tag in it. uh, Now this is a document object model tree. Like first on the top of this tree is HTML. Then HTML is associated with head and body. Head tags contain tags like title tag, meta tag, and other meta character set tags. And body tag contains all our content tags like h1 tag, p tag, unordered list, anchor tag, list tag, etc. etc. So you can also learn about document object model on the website of Firefox. It will give you some details about like how DOM, DOM model works on Firefox. So if anyone is interested, so he can visit on Wikipedia and just Google it, like document object model on various browsers like Chrome and Firefox. The main tags in HTML are division tag. It is used to create a container, usually represents a rectangular area with information inside. IMG tag, it is a self-closing tag which is used to embed an image. Uh, a tag, which is also called anchor tag, to to create a clickable link to go to another URL. And a p tag, a h1 tag, input tag, style tag, script tag, and span tag. And p is used to create a text paragraph. H1 is used to create a title, a heading, and input is used to take some user input. Style is used to insert the CSS rules in our HTML web page, and script is used to execute the JavaScript, and span is used to execute a null tag. So let's move further. So yes, another interesting tags are like button tag, audio tag, video tag, canvas tag, and iframe tag. Uh, you can use a button tag to create a button. You can use a audio tag to play audio on your web page. Video tag to embed a video. Canvas tag to draw graphics from JavaScript, and uh, iframe to put another website into inside your OS. And now let's study about wrapping the info. So like first you have to create a division tag. Inside that you have to create a span tag, and then you have to close that division tag. And then you can create more and more division tag to wrap the content inside your HTML page. This was all about the HTML. And if anyone is having some doubt, he can view this slide. Like this is a division tag, and this is a title tag. So here is some content, here is some content, and then close the division tag. So avoid doing this because it will give you some errors, and you have to face some errors, and then you will waste your time in solving those errors. Instead, do this type of scripting while you are using HTML. Like open a division tag, place a h1 tag, and then close it immediately, and place your content in between those tags. Then open another tag, close that immediately, and then place your content in between those tags. And further, you can create more and more tags, and in last create the division tag that you opened at the first place. Now let's talk about our next technology, which is CSS. So before talking about CSS, let us first dive into the Visual Studio Code and write some lines in HTML so that you can get a hands-on experience. So what you have to do is you just have to create a folder. Like I have already created a folder on my desktop, like Web plus Firebase, and then just right click and go to show more options and open with Visual Studio Code. So this will open your folder in our code editor, which is Visual Studio Code. I hope you guys are familiar with Visual Studio Code, or if anyone is not familiar, so he can just Google it and uh, and install it in your PC. So so I have to select a language. So we'll select the language as HTML and then save it inside your web page. So I'll name it as index. So now your file which you are looking at is now saved as index.html. So now here I am going to tell you about a trick. Uh, just uh, uh, just press Shift plus one button, and it will give you a exclamation mark, and then hit the Enter key. So it will give you the initial boilerplate of any HTML document. So using this boilerplate, you can create any HTML document of your choice. So let us start. So in today's workshop, we will create a simple registration page, and on next day, Arthur will tell you about how to integrate root operations on it using Firebase. So let us first give the title to this web page. So we will remove this document and type registration page. So this is the title, and now this is our main body tag where we have to do all the scripting. So first let me apply a thematic break. This thematic break will create a line on your document. So how to view it? Just copy the path, just right click and copy the path, and go to your favorite browser, open a new tab, and just paste those paths which you copied. So this is your first HTML page. Like this is how you created your new HTML page. And now let us move ahead in the Visual Studio Code. So what we have to do first, we will embed an image. So for embedding an image, just open the tag. This is how we open the tag, and then type img, and then type src. Press the equal to button. It will give you an inverted comma, and then close this tag. And also remember to put a forward slash before closing a tag. So this is the image tag, but in the src we need some destination or some image, like which image we want to display on our web page. So let us google a good image, like uh, I will google a image of img academy. It's basically a sports academy, so many of you will be familiar with this. So okay, so let us take this image. This is looking good. Or this will be a better image. So just copy the image address, move back to your Visual Studio Code, and just hit Control V. That paste this image. Save your document using Control S. Go again to your browser. Go to the registration page. Refresh the page, and this is your image. So this is how you can implement a image in your HTML document. Again, let us move back to the Visual Studio Code, and while doing this, you must remember that we are using Visual Studio Code to create a registration form. So just give it a heading of registration page. Again, we will apply a thematic break here, and a break point also to break the line. So first we'll create a division class for our web page. So open the tag division, type the word class and press the equal to button and give this class name of a form, as we are gonna create a registration form. So now we will create our first input field. So our first input field will be of a roll number. So just open the tag of input, type equal to text name equal to of roll number, uh, we can give it a class with the same name of roll number, and just apply breaking point tag twice so that it will also give space to the other input fields. Uh, Next, create a name field like name of the person who is registering. Let us apply non-breaking space. It will give a backspace. It will give a empty space in your web page. So again, create a input type equal to text name equal to uh, name equal to, you can give any name like just give it a name of name class, and give it a breaking point. So just copy paste this line and you can create more and more input fields in the similar fashion. So we will just copy paste it and create another. So we will rename them as for gender and address of the registering person. Okay, so this, and we just name it as gender. Okay, so this is how we had successfully created our form, and now it's time to close the division tag. So how? So here I'm gonna teach you how to close a division tag. So just open the tag, hit a forward slash, and type the div, and the tag will get closed. So this is a basic form which we have created. Just have a look in our web page. How does it look like? So this is how initially it looks like. It is looking not that good, but don't worry, we will style it using CSS. So let's get back to our Visual Studio Code, and uh, first we will uh, cut all the contents and create a container for styling it. So just hit Ctrl X, create a division class container, and paste all the initial code here. So this is how uh, we are going to create our registration form. Now we will implement some button. So we already learned about the button tag. So let me tell you how to create buttons. So let us create another division and name that division class as of buttons. So division class of button. And this Visual Studio could always close our tags automatically whenever you open a new tag. So let's create a tag for the button and give it a ID equal to insert and close, and button tag will close. And as I told you, open a tag, close it immediately, and put the content in between the tag. So let us put our content like the insert. Similarly, open another tag, button ID equal to read, give it the ID as read, close the tag, put the content in between, and similarly copy paste it, and you can create more and more button tags using the same code. So let us just copy paste it and rename the ID as update, and also we'll replace the content in between the tag and rename it as delete. So this is how we created buttons. So just hit Control S to save it, minimize it, move back to the browser, refresh the browser, and here we have some buttons now as well, like insert, read, update, delete, and these are the input fields like roll number, name, gender, address, etc. etc. So this is the basic HTML thing which we had done now. So let's move into the CSS now. Like what CSS can, what the magic CSS can do in this web page. So let me take you back to our presentation. So here is where we left 10 minutes ago. So this is the CSS part. So what is CSS? CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it is used to specify how to present the document info stored in the HTML. And through CSS, we can control some aspects of visualization like colors, margins, positions, sizes, behaviors, changes on mouse over, etc. etc. Now, CSS example is like you have to open a curly bracket, and then you have to type the attribute name. You have to type the property name, and you have to give it the attribute. So this is how you can implement the CSS in your web page. And this star means all. Like whenever you will use star and star before opening the curly braces, that CSS will be going to apply on the entire web page. So these are some CSS fields, like HTML has tags. So CSS has some fields associated with it. So these are some common CSS fields these are some common CSS fields like color, background colors, background image, font, border, border top, border radius, margin, padding, and etc. And you can see like for inserting a color, you can just type the color, hit the colon, and you will be getting many suggestions for inserting color in your web page like red, blue, green, orange, etc. Background color, background image, font size like font size of 18 pixels, uh, font family, border. So all these things you can do with CSS. So CSS and how to add it. So basically there are uh, um, there are three ways to insert the CSS. I had written it the four ways, but uh, broadly sp- uh, broadly speaking, there are three ways because the fourth one is using JavaScript, and we will see this one later. So the initial three ways are uh, inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. Inlines, first we will talk about the internal CSS. So internal CSS is like you just use the style tag and put your CSS code in that tag. The second one is external CSS, and external CSS will be using another file. You have to create another file, and then you have to give the reference of those file, and you have to give the relation of those file, like what is the relation of that file with your HTML page. So in relation you have to type style sheet, like it is a cascading style sheet for styling your web page. So this is how you will apply the external CSS. And third one is internal CSS, which you can directly apply in any HTML tag using the style keyword in that tag. So as I had written here in example, like p style equal to color blue margin 10 pixels, etc., etc. So these are some basic things about CSS. So now let's move further to the CSS selectors. So CSS selectors. So what are the CSS selectors? CSS selectors are like the tags of the HTML which are used to change the appearance of the web page. So, like the CSS rule mean that every division tag found in our website should have a red background color. Like if you select division as your selector and you apply the CSS like background color red, so every division in your web page will have a background color red. And if you want to apply the background color of red to the whole web page, so you can just use the body tag, and it will apply the background color of red to your whole body. So now moving further in the CSS selector, so you can specify a tag, or you can also use the class name given to that tag. So for using the class name, you have to put that dot and then give the class name like intro. So p dot intro, like it is okay to omit the p, but you have to apply the dot and to give the class name like intro to apply the CSS. So like here you can apply the CSS, and this will affect this division ID of main, and it will not affect the P class of intro if you will apply CSS using the class name. So it will affect only those particular class which have the class name by which you applied the CSS in your style.css file. So let's narrow it down more. Once like this tag will apply the CSS to any division tag with ID main and class intro if the mouse is over, and you do not need to specify a tag. You can use the class or ID selectors without tag. This means it will affect to any node of ID main. And these are some common CSS selectors like division, p, unordered list, menu list, etc., etc. Now, how to arrange the CSS? So you can display it using block, you can display it using inline, you can display it using inline block, etc., etc. So these are some basic ways to arrange the CSS in your web page. This is box model, so it will take some time to me to explain the box model. So we can just summarize it by saying like, first there is content. Content is surrounded by the padding. Padding is surrounded by the border, and border is surrounded by the margin. So every element which is there on your web page is using this box model, and through this box sizing you can style it properly. Like first you can give it a margin, then you can give it a border, then you will give it a padding, and then inside that padding you can place your content. And this is how you can change the behavior of your web page. So some common CSS layouts are like header, navigation, then content, and a footer. So this is a common CSS layout. Some grid system, like you can display it using some grid system. You can create the class of grid containers and the give CSS properties to that class name, and it will apply CSS to those grid system. So all this was about CSS. And if anyone wants to learn more about CSS, so they can just Google this things like one line layout tutorials, understanding the box model, all CSS selectors, and CSS transitions to learn more about the CSS. So I'll leave this as the further reading for you for the CSS. And now let's get back to our HTML page. So this was our initial index.html. Now just now we will just start about applying CSS in this HTML page. So just open the tag of link and relation equal to style sheet and give it as href equal to style.css. Close the tag. So here you can create a new file called style.css. So this is your style.css. Let's start with applying some CSS in this web page. So first we will take the body as our initial tag. We'll open the curly braces and apply some background color. So background color will be cornflower blue. You can choose any background color of your choice. Just hit Ctrl S. Just move back to your browser of the registration page. Refresh it, and this is the cornflower blue color on your web page. So this is so simple, like you have to just give the name of the tag and you just have to apply the CSS property. Now just go back to our HTML page. So first we have a division and which has a class name container. So as I told you about like how to apply CSS in the class name. So just hit the dot, give the class name which is container, open the curly braces, and now we'll give it some width of uh, say like 1000 pixels, margin of 50 pixels, which will be auto, which will be formatted using auto keyword, padding of 20 pixels, font family of Arial, font size of let's say 16 pixels, background color of background color, let's say just give this. Okay, sir, let us just view like until now how does our web page looks like. So just hit the controllers, move back to our web page. So initially it is looking like somehow like this. So somewhat like this it is looking. So let us give it a background color as well. This container, only this container, as I had specified dot container here. So background color of white, and a border radius of 20 pixels. And let us just now close this container tag, hit the Ctrl S and refresh the page. So it is looking somewhat like this, and it is looking far more better than the initial raw HTML document. Now we will style it further. So we will use the tag name of image to style the image. So we'll give it a width of 100% of our container. 100%. Height of 418 pixels. Our H2 tag, which was our heading tag for the registration page, will align the text in center. Uh, then the dot container, and inside that dot container as well as the division, will apply again the same property of text align center. hit the Control S and refresh the page. So yes, now it is looking somewhat like this. Okay, so this is how it is looking. Let me view why this image is getting so much blur. Oh, okay, okay. So there is not any major error. A minor error happened with us while I think like copying the image source. So let us move again to the image source. No, it's all good. Like I think we can again copy the image address and go back to our Visual Studio. Okay, so let us change this source. Now it is at the correct source. Now save it. Again, go to our registration page, refresh it. Okay, so now image is also looking good, and our web page is in front of you. So let's style it using some more properties of CSS. So till now we had styled using H2 image body and container. Let us style our input tags as well. So type the keyword input, open the curly braces. Uh, Let us give our button a width of 70 pixels, padding of 10 pixels, margin of 10 pixels, font size of 16 pixels, background color. We can keep the same background color of cornflower blue. Then border, we don't need any border, so let us give a none border. Color to it, like we'll keep it simplistic using the white color, and a border radius of 10 pixels. Okay, so this is what we can initially do. Mm, 1 minute, let us change it from input to button, as we are styling the button here. And to apply the CSS to input, just type input and give it a width of, let's say, 500 pixels and padding of 5 pixels. Hit the Control S, go back to a registration page, refresh the page. Okay, so now it's looking good and it is matching with our background. So this is a basic HTML page developed using HTML and CSS. So these are some input fields, like you can type your roll number, you can type your name, you can type your gender, you can give your address, like so, and you can type on insert, read, update, delete to perform the operations, which Athar will tell you about in the next session. So let us let us refresh the page, and you will see like all the entries are gone. So here you are looking like the name of this web page is registration page. So let me tell you some extra things which you can do using HTML, CSS, some cool stuff. So we can give a logo to our HTML page. Like you, whenever you visit to Amazon, so you view a logo, like here StreamYard. So the StreamYard has a logo, or WhatsApp has a logo, GDSC has a logo, Google has a logo, and our page just have a web browser image. So let us give a logo to our web page. So for this, you have to just go below the title tag and create another link tag, and after creating that link tag, uh, just you have to give the relation of icon for your web page, and then you have to give the reference of the image which you are going to uh, display as the logo of your web page. So let us search for a good image for our logo. So let us search the logo as sports, like sports logo. Let us go in the images section. So okay, so this logo seems good with our web page. Let us copy the image address here. So just copy the image address and put that image address back in your reference of the code. Like, just hit Control V and hit Control S. Minimize the screen. Go back to your registration page. Refresh the page, and whenever the page will get refreshed, you will see like here we have embedded a good logo for our web page. So this is how you can give a logo to your web page as well. And some more things that I would like to tell you about HTML is like how to embed a live how to embed a live YouTube video and live Google Map in your HTML page. So let us create another division tag. Uh, Give it a name of like give it a class name of uh, details. Close the tag, and we'll put the content in between. So how to integrate a video? So let me show you how. So just go to the YouTube. So on YouTube, you just have to search a video of IMG Academy, hit the enter, hit the enter button, and now what you have to do, like you can select any video. Like, this is the campus tour of IMG Academy. Uh, just click on the share button, uh, click on the embed button then, and just click on this copy button. So it will copy the HTML code of this live Google video. uh, so just go back to the index page and paste that here. So this is how you can embed a live Google live YouTube video in your web page. So this is the code we just copied from the YouTube, and let us go back to let us go back to the let us go back to the our web page, and just refresh the page. So when you will refresh the page here, you will you will be getting that YouTube video. So this is how you can embed any YouTube video of your choice inside your web page. Next next what you can do is uh, integrate a live Google Map. So just go to the your web browser and type IMG Academy. So it will give you the location. So type on the IMG Academy, and after IMG Academy, you have to you have to specify like from where you like where you want to fetch the location, like where you want to fetch the location. So uh, click on the directions. Why this is lagging so much? So just click on the directions here. Click on this more button. No, sorry. Click on this hamburger button, and after clicking on this hamburger button, just click on share or embed the map. So click on embed the map and copy HTML. So this will just copy the HTML code. When you will copy the HTML code, you have to go back to the Visual Studio Code, and after going back to the Visual Studio Code, in the division class details, just hit Control V to paste this. So this code will be there in your web page. So go back to the browser, refresh it. So yes, here there is a live YouTube video as well as a live Google Map. As you can see here, I can just uh, I can just Google it and change it from wherever the location I want. Now just style this video in Google Map as well. So we will just go to the style.css file, click on dot details, give it a padding of left of 150 pixels, and flags of auto, as well as in the HTML page we have to give both of them a uh, same height as of the other. So yes, let's change the height of this live Google Map to 315 pixels, and just hit Control S. So this is how you can change it. And furthermore, you can also give the height and width you want, but for now it is sufficient. And we will also apply some breaking space, some non-breaking space, so that they will appear distinct in our web page. So I guess we will need some 3 to 4 breaking spaces. So just type n%npsp and paste it again and again. Minimize your Visual Studio Code, refresh your page. So yes, like first there is a thematic break, then the image, then the registration page, and then there is the video and the live Google Map. And one more thing that you can do is you can give the paddings according to you, like what you feel and what uh, what looks better for your browser. So here I have to increase some padding for the iframe tags, for the details class. Like I can increase it up to 250 pixels. Like then save it and then refresh the page. Okay, so it's looking nice. Let's increase some more padding. Uh, Give it like 350 pixels. Refresh the page. Oh no, it's now getting more on the right side. So we can take it as the 300 pixels for now. So save it again, refresh the page again. Okay, so now both the contents are same in size and width. So this is the web page, and let's end this web page by applying a last thematic break in the end of the page using HR tag. So yes, let us just reload it. So it is getting reloaded. So this is the registration page. The image of the IMG Academy. That is registration page consisting of input fields like roll number, name, gender, address, and then the live Google Map to show you the directions. A YouTube video which you can watch, which you can play here. So it will get played here with the sounds on. So this is how you can embed a live Google Map as well. And in last, we applied a thematic break. So I hope you all enjoyed today's session. And if anyone has any doubts, so he can ask, or they can also message me on LinkedIn. Or if they want, I will give my GitHub ID in the comment section. So you can take this code from there. I will push that code on GitHub as well. I will push this code on GitHub as well, so you can refer from there as well. So now the task for you to continue the HTML and CSS with this CSS further reading. And if any one of you wants to explore more, so they can just Google Bootstrap, which is a very cool framework for developing front end of any for any web application. So this is Bootstrap. So you can just go to getbootstrap.com and learn about Bootstrap. So this is all about the front end which we plan to talk to you about. So uh, this was all for the day for our 1 hour workshop. Next day, Athar will tell you about how to integrate it with the Firebase and how to perform CRUD operations on this web page using Firebase. So this is our simple web page using HTML and CSS. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you everyone. If anyone has doubts, so they can ask me.
Okay, thanks a lot, Yash, for the interesting session. And tomorrow we'll be continuing with this same web page, and we'll be backing it up with Firebase. So please be ready with the forms that we have created, the registration form that we created today. And yeah, thanks a lot, Yash.
Thanks, Athar. Thank you, Athar.